I always dance to that music. Don't know why. But hello, everybody. It's me, Roscoe, and welcome to the latest Kings of Anglia Fans Social, the first of 2025. Happy New Year to you all. Hope you had a good start to your year. I know some people have started work. I know the man who's joining us today, Ben Diaz, already been in his office. So salute to you, my friend. But yeah, obviously the sexy business is already started. We're going to be talking about the January transfer window. We're going to look ahead to Fulham. And we'll have a little look back at 2024 as well. Obviously, what a way to end the year. The 2-0 win against Chelsea, the first home win in over 22 years. The first time I've ever seen Ipswich Town home win, because I was only 5 the last time we won a home game. So I can't really remember that, and I don't think I was there. But we've got a great show. I'm going to bring the two men that are going to be joining me, the fine gentlemen, that is Bono and Ben Diaz. Let's bring in Bono first of all, because he's the first one on my screen and the first one who turned up this evening. No one was late. We had a 10 to 8 sort of like call, and Bono was the first man to come in. My friend, looking very good, got a nice light on you. I need to work on my lighting because it's right in my face like this. Ugh. But how are you?
Hello, good evening and welcome. I'm very well. How are you? Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Your mic's just blown up, by the way, but I can hear you. Don't scream.
You can hear me?
I can hear you.
Excellent. Yeah, no.
You just shouted Happy New Year.
Sorry, I did. Yes. Sorry, everybody. Happy New Year. I'm well. I hope you are too. It's been a while. You good?
Yes, mate. Yes, it has been a while, but yeah, it's always a pleasure to see you. Everyone get involved in the chat. I know that it's the darts on tonight as well. The World Championship of Darts is at Luke Littler versus Michael Van Gerwen. So I'm sure you can do dual screens. I know one man could be doing that, and that is good old Ben Diaz, my friend. How are you?
Hello, mate. Yeah, very well. Thank you, Ross. Thank you for having me as ever. A pleasure to be here. Yeah, I'm very well. Of course, I'm sure we'll talk about it, but I've still been high as a kite since the Chelsea game. So yeah, I'm feeling very good at the moment. Back to work, but do like a bit of sort of like return to normality. Too much food, too much drink over the festive period.
Yeah, I'll have to admit, my days have been all mixed up. I know it's a Friday now because obviously we're doing this live show, and normally we do a live show on a Friday, the Fan Social. So yeah, I know it's a Friday, but I think next week when it's back to normality and back to the normal sort of schedule, Monday to Friday, the weekend and all that jazz. And yeah, I want to quickly mention, obviously, I don't really want to quickly mention it, but we'll mention it anyway. Obviously, the Chelsea game, obviously, it's been covered. We've done a podcast, we've done other bits and bobs, game day, which you guys were involved in as well, Bono and Ben. But yeah, Bono, what a way to end the year, my friend. 2024 was an incredible year as an Ipswich Town fan, from promotion to the Premier League to obviously ups and downs in the league so far this year. But what a way to end it with a 2-0 win against Chelsea, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, arguably it's been the best year for an entire generation. We didn't think we could top the year before, and then 2024 came along and we smashed that out the park. And yeah, just to finally get that long-awaited win, the last home game of the year, with a fantastic atmosphere, was just absolutely brilliant, wasn't it? So who knows what 2025 has in store for us? But one thing's for sure, I'm very excited. More excited than I probably seem right now.
It's been a few days, and obviously New Year celebrations and all that, my friend. But yeah, Ben, Bono actually sent me a very nice picture, forward over a picture. You two celebrating that win. I can't really show it on screen. I can sort of show you on my phone. But look at you, so happy you two. Ben, I know you obviously saw Town in the Premier League, before this season, but that must have been a great moment for you, though. Good old Bono celebrating that win.
Yeah, it was obviously a fantastic moment to share it with Bono, to be with King of the North, John Watson, and my dad and my brother. We were all together in the North Stand upper, in the Sir Bobby Robson upper, and great view of the goals and the action, and still could get a sense of those Chelsea players throwing their dummies out, spitting their dummies out. It was a magnificent night for the club and the perfect way to end, maybe not the perfect year, but an absolutely magnificent one. As Bono rightly said, the best in a generation for a number of fans. But I've got to say, I agreed with Stuart Watson on your excellent podcast that you put out in review of the year, and that the Chelsea game was right up there for me in terms of one of those games over this last year or so, how far this club has come. Yes, I've seen us in the Premier League. I remember the promotion in '92. I remember the promotion in 2000s. But I think with the years that go on as a Town fan, it's got better and better. And this time, it feels like the best time ever to be an Ipswich Town fan. It's just a wonderful all round, a fantastic fan base that's all come together, and we've talked about it so many times now. So let's crack on into 2025 and see what it may bring.
Yeah, and that's what Richard sort of said. Good evening. May 2025 be as great as 2024. Indeed, Richard. Everyone get involved in the comments. Thanks, everyone, for joining us so far. Over 100 people joining us. And yeah, get involved in the comments. We're going to talk about the sexy stuff, look at the Fulham, and some other bits and bobs that we'll chuck at you this evening. So, boys, transfer window has swung open for January, and obviously this has been a great window for Town the last 2 seasons. Obviously, the League One season, we brought in the likes of Harry Clark, Nathan Broadhead, George Hurst. Who else did we sign? We signed another one. Can you remind me who we signed? We signed someone else who was good.
Al Hamadi.
No, that was last. That was the championship.
Oh yeah.
Season. Anyway, it's been good.
Luongo,
obviously a free agent, which was very good indeed. And obviously, just last season, obviously Sarmiento, Lewis Travis, Kiefer Moore. Obviously, it's been a great transfer window. Will we see the same this time around? Obviously, a bigger one because of the league we're in and the competition we're going to have to get. And obviously, everyone knows what we need is a striker and other bits and bobs. And we've been linked with a few players so far, and we're just going to sort of talk about them. Let's start with Jaden Philogene, first of all, Bono. A bit of a rumour just at the moment. Aston Villa potentially could loan him out to a club. Ipswich will be interested, I'm sure, because they were interested in the summer. There was that potential of him actually having the deal signed at Town. But obviously Villa sort of took that release clause and went, yeah, we want him back. And in a way, it was just a glorified loan last season at Hull City, really. But he's back at Aston Villa. Hasn't played that much, really. I think 15 games this season. I think 2 league starts. Has played in Champions League for them, so I'm sure he's happy to say that. But thoughts on James Philogene, my friend? Obviously, an exciting winger. Maybe a position we do need to strengthen in with Ogbene's injury. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's not something I'd be, horrendously adverse to. However, I think all of the shenanigans from the summer have left a bit of taste in my mouth somewhat. Particularly when you saw his agent turning up outside Barcelona's training ground and, other places in world football kind of, intimating that the wheels were in motion somewhat. And yeah, when it didn't come off, I think I was frustrated at first, but then you look at what we did get, and it was obviously Ogbene is a different player now, sadly injured, because I think he just started to get up to speed, didn't he? When that quite bad injury came along, but I don't know. Kind of, you think if he really wanted to join us, would he have joined us in the summer? How much of a say did he have in that? But I don't know. I'm sure there's other targets out there, but this is why the January window is so good. All of the rumours and all of the potential. But I guess if you're asking for a yes or a no, it's probably a no from me. But there you go.
That's fine. That's fine. I think I don't think he had that much say in that deal because obviously Aston Villa just activated that release clause or that buyback clause, and obviously Hull were going to sell to the team he sort of was bought from. And yeah, it's just one of those things. Let's get Ben involved, my friend. I know you like silky wingers. Jaden Philogene, does that get you? You're excited about that one.
Horse racing.
That's the one. Yeah, I couldn't think of
that. It does, Ross. I'm a very forgiving man, as my wife would be testament to, and I don't really care about what happened in the summer. I think football is a fickle game full of fickle people. If McKenna and Ashton fancy him, and their track record is very good in the transfer market as a whole, if he's affordable, if we can get a deal done, whether that be a loan or a permanent deal. I know ideally we'd have got him in the summer and he'd be an Ipswich Town player with the first half of the season sort of under his belt. But he still should be up to speed. As you said, he's played in the Champions League. He's got now Premier League experience, which he wouldn't have had much of, if anything, before he would have signed in the summer. So I think it's a no-brainer if he's available. He's obviously someone on our radar for a long time now. It's someone that McKenna fancies. Yes, he'll have that development needed in terms of patterns and play and the way that we work. But it's not like he's playing under some kind of fall at Aston Villa. He's had one of the best managers in Europe, Emery. So I think it'd be great. It's a gap we need to fill. If there are other targets out there, I'd like to sort of hear names that potentially be better than him, because I doubt there'd be realistic ones. So it's a yes from me. So it's nice to have two different answers for you, Ross.
And I like that. And we've got a few people in the comments. Charlie Setterfield, always a man who's always involved in the Fan Social Live. So good to see Charlie once again. He said we'll take Philogene in a heartbeat. And today there's been an hour rumour that Town have had a £16 million bid rejected for Liverpool's Ben Doak, who's on loan at Middlesbrough this season. And I think that's the Athletic reporting that. And once again, another youngster though, Bono Ben. I think he's only 19, Scottish man as well. I think he was at Celtic before going to Liverpool. He's only played this first season really in senior football, playing week in, week out in the Championship. Bono, 16 million. That's been rejected, so we're going to have to spend a bit more if we are going to try to get that man a permanent deal. Won't be part of that 25 squad limit because he's under the age of 21. But Ben Doak, what do you reckon?
I don't know too much about him. From people that do know a lot more than me about him, he's very raw. Talent's there. I always think if you can do it at a huge club like Celtic, then obviously he's not going to be fazed by the Premier League. That said, though, are we really wanting to buy like potential? I think at this kind of critical stage, we're going to want kind of people that are going to be ready to hit the ground running, that can do the business, not somebody that might be good next season or even the season after that. But talent like that for 16 million, when you look at some of the ridiculous fees, Exhibit A, Chelsea, who obviously had £500 million worth of talent arrive in Suffolk a couple of days ago. 16 million is nothing really, is it? So I'm indifferent. I'd obviously like a better known player, but I'm also realistic in those respects as well. We'll see.
Yeah, we shall. And obviously we went down that Championship route. We saw signed players like Jack Clark and other players like that who have obviously did well in the Championship, but making a step up to the Premier League is a hard one, Ben. And obviously we signed players like Amari Hutchinson, Liam Delap, who are young players, promising players at Premier League clubs. Ben Doak, it's been rumoured that the bid's been rejected, so we're going to have to spend potentially 20 million. I think he's got potential, but is he something that we need right now? I think we need obviously that experience and players who can get us over the line. But where are you at with it?
It's a fine line in terms of getting things right. If we say up this year, we'd be maybe looking at a different market. If we go down to the Championship, but you're probably not going to be able to sign a player like him and spend the money that we'd have straight away. So you do strike while the iron's hot. They've seen an opportunity. They think we can get this guy with huge potential. I know he's very popular with Scotland fans. He's their great white hope of the future of Scottish football at the moment. He's played very well in their more recent games and that I've taken a look at. It's really exciting. Like many young players, blows a bit hot and cold. I know. I think Carrick's trying to get that consistency out of him in the Championship, which, as we know, is a really grueling league. So Liverpool, I think, are very happy with him in the Championship and learning, the men's game and everything that throws at you. I think if we've got the money and we can do it, and Philogene and Ben Doak came on board, then that would be fantastic. I think then you're really looking good for the future. And if the worst was to happen and we had to go back down to the Championship, the squad, yes, you'd lose a few players, but the squad would be very, very, very strong. And we'd be the envy of most clubs in that division to have another crack at it. So I like the idea of getting players like this when our hand is really strong, when we've got fantastic backroom, a great organisation, a fantastic manager. Football can move very, very quickly in the summer. Things can fall apart very quickly. I'm not saying they will, but I'm just saying right now that would be a player with huge potential. I think is certainly a top Championship player right now and will be a Premier League player, I think, in the future.
And obviously, I think it's Crystal Palace is another team that's been linked to him and had a bid rejected. So other teams are looking at him, and obviously he's at the moment at Michael Carrick's Middlesbrough. So we shall see where it goes with this. One player, though, that could be on the verge of signing for us, and we can report it here. East Anglian Day Times understands that Ben Godfrey potentially could come on loan from current Italian leaders, Atalanta. Bono, I know you're probably excited about this one, although Ben Godfrey is not that Italian sort of Jens Kuste sort of signing. I know he's Swedish, so he's not Italian, but Ben Godfrey, obviously, he's played in this country before. Obviously, he's from this country. He's also played up the road for those people. And obviously was at Everton. I think he got sold for £11 million in the summer to go to Atlanta. So Atalanta. Is that right, Rossi boy? But Bono, Ben Godfrey, my friend.
Yeah, it's exciting to be linked with players of this caliber. Proven Premier League experience, can play in a number of positions. I was actually reading something today. Daniel Farke, current Leeds United boss, of course, he actually changed Godfrey from a right back to a centre back. Step up into midfield as well, so that kind of covers 3 bases for him. But I wonder what them lot up the road are thinking for us to be linked to one of their former crown jewels. Of course, I think we've been linked with somebody else that used to play in for the Canaries as well, but more on that in a bit, probably, right? You're probably wondering who?
Yeah, who's that?
I've read somewhere, and it's probably one of these spurious websites that's got about 8 subscribers or something like that. But Emil Buendia, I understand, we're in for. Apparently, we're going to scup a lead. Apparently, Leeds want Buendia and Godfrey, and we're going to swoop in. Mark Ashton's going to break out the oxygen, and he's going to break out the rocket ship, which is being built mid-flight, to scupper that deal. Whether or not we need a player like Buendia is another thing. Personally, can't see it happening, but I'm just a bloke in Stowmarket, really. What do I know?
Well, I think we do know that obviously Town are in talks with Ben Godfrey, potentially getting him on loan. So I think that's what we'll cover more on here. But Ben Dwyer, what can't you say? I don't want him to sign because I don't even say his name. So Ben Godfrey, Ben, namesake. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, firstly, very encouraging because they all say all good things come in 3s. So Ben Doak, Ben Godfrey, and I'm expecting Mark Ashton to ring my phone any moment to make the 3rd Ben. My phone's still behind me, like ready if I need it.
Ben, I'm going to have to stop you here, and because we can't hear you, my friend, which is alarming. So live on the podcast, we're going to have to get you.
Can't hear me at all.
Oh, we can hear you now. I thought you were going to go down the whole. It happens in 3s. Ben Doak, Ben Godfrey, Ben Dia. But there you go.
I was actually going to put myself as number 3.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Ben.
But that's wishful thinking, living in a dreamland. I have got my phone right behind me. If Mark Ashton wants to give me a call, I'll be ready and waiting. But yeah, I think Ben Godfrey ticks all the boxes McKenna's looking for in terms of that right centre back, right back hybrid role that Twanzebe obviously was an expert in for us. I know Dara O'Shea has fitted in there admirably. But again, if we get a shortage at centre half, we want to push him over perhaps. Gives us another option in terms of playing 3 at the back with pushing Johnson and Burns further on. So again, if it's someone we're interested in, I'm not surprised at all. Premier League experience. He's got really good pedigree. I think he's very good with the ball at his feet. I think sometimes for Everton, the way that they played in terms of that defensive way that they often played under Dyche and previous managers, it maybe didn't suit his way of football, and he sometimes got isolated. And against all wingers we've seen, the wingers are such high caliber in the Premier League that you can get a bit caught one-on-one and a little bit caught for pace. I don't think he's the quickest, but look at the players we're getting linked with now compared to 12, 18 months ago. Anybody who's arguing that this guy wouldn't fit the mould, I think is just wrong. It makes sense. Just get him in quickly. I don't think it'd be too difficult for him to know how we work and fit in. And even worst case scenario is a backup, even better. Who would have thought that? Ben Godfrey as a backup, right back or centre half for Ipswich Town in 2025.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? And what's your thoughts, Bono, on a former Norwich player joining? Because we've had a few players have crossed the divide in times. Obviously, Brandon Williams last year, he obviously was on loan at Norwich, but Ben Godfrey sort of made his name. Sort of came through, I think, at York City, and he then went to Norwich and obviously went and played in the Premier League with them. But where are you at with that former sort of Norwich connection? If he's not signing obviously directly from Norwich, he's obviously gone to Everton, gone to then Italy, and he's wanting to come back to England. Thoughts?
Was that for me because it was a bit breaky-uppy? Right. Yes. Where am I on signing ex-Norwich City Football Club players? These guys are professionals. I think unless they're Norwich fans themselves and are from the county of Norfolk, I don't really think it matters, because you know what? There's a bit of schadenfreude involved as well. By that, I mean, it's fun seeing other people uncomfortable and unhappy that we've signed their players. And you know what? It hasn't always worked out well. I'm old enough to remember Ian Crook posing with the scarf and it never ever happening. Andy Marshall had his moments, but he also had a lot of other moments, if you know what I mean. So let's just see. We'll worry about it when it happens, I think.
Yeah, that's fine. Ben, you're not that fussed either. It's just one of those. You played there, obviously, but
I'd rather go this way than the other way.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah, I'm personally not fussed. The history of a professional footballer, like Bono said, that they are professionals. He's going to come here. He's not going to play badly because he's a Norwich City player. The only reason he played badly is if he's just out of form or playing with an injury, or he's not quite up to speed. He's obviously a good player with Premier League experience. So I'm not fussed at all. I would imagine that 99.9% of our fan base wouldn't be, and they give him a bloody good reception and get behind him like every other player that plays for Ipswich Town Football Club.
I think there is a bit of a caveat to this. I mean, can you imagine if we signed? I mean, I don't even know who their best player is at the moment. They've got a lot of young.
Sainz is the top goal scorer in the Championship, isn't he?
Can you imagine if we bid £30 million for Borja Sainz? It would never happen.
That'd be great as well. That'd be brilliant. He's the best player.
But as long as, the caveat is we don't line their pockets, right? I think they're struggling now, aren't they? I think, I don't know, I don't want to spend too much time talking about them, but, I don't think do they get parachute payments anymore? I don't think they do they?
Probably
don't. No. So maybe a cheeky bid? No, I'm joking. Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me. Yeah, but is he a Kieran McKenna player? That's a massive pro that we have, isn't it? A massive tick in the pro box. Ashton will drive out to some bloody truck stop near Maidenhead to meet some of these guys and just sell them the Kieran McKenna dream. And I don't know. Do any of our current squad have any links to any of these players? Because that's always a nice little thing to look for. We heard about Leif Davis texting Calvin Phillips and stuff like that. So it's always nice to look for those little connections.
Even Broadhead may know Ben Godfrey, because obviously Broadhead was at Everton. So they could have crossed over at some stage.
Yeah.
So potentially, and obviously England youth. He's England youth back in the day, so he would have maybe linked up with some other players who played England youth. So
Wolfenden, you might know Wolfenden. Similar age? Are they similar age?
Yeah, 26. So he's going to be 27 in 15th of January. Benjamin Matthew Godfrey. There you go.
Fine middle name. Fine middle name.
Yeah, born in York. So he was York City youth, and then also went to Norwich, and then went to Shrewsbury on loan briefly in Everton. And he hasn't really played this much this season. That's another thing, though, I'm a bit worried about. He's not played much, but obviously they're doing really well. They're top of the Serie A at the moment. So battling my boys Napoli. So I think that's probably, and obviously I think they've got the manager's just out of favour with the managers. So just watch his space, ladies and gentlemen. Ben Godfrey, he's in talks. We shall see what happens. So obviously sexy stuff. He's a striker though as well, boys. We haven't really been linked with many people just yet. Obviously, there's a few names getting chucked about. Obviously, Lati Laff of Middlesbrough, obviously his agent. He was already close to joining Town on deadline day, but nothing came about. Evan Ferguson's been a name that's been chucked about a bit, but now he's been linked with many different clubs. I think Arsenal are in for him as well. So a player that may be too far from our reach, but we shall see. But boys, any other positions you think we need strengthening, or do you think the players we've been linked with so far are the positions we need to strengthen in?
Ben, you go first.
You're silent again, Ben. Don't know what's going on. No.
Oh.
Oh, no, I
can. Strikers, obviously, we need one. I think ideally Al Hamadi, as everyone's spoken about, would be going on loan in the window. Hurst, of course, is not going to come back till mid to end of January, and we've been caught short already, haven't we? I think Ali is doing an admirable job when he comes on, and he's running his heart out, and he'll always give you 110%. But the quality, the step up in quality that we need for the Premier League is the bar is so high. I think we've got very lucky with Liam Delap, and his form has been absolutely extraordinary. I think, as Stuart Watson said, even surprised some members of the club in terms of his development and how quickly he's improved. So that's a very good news story. Who will sign? Latte Lat from Middlesbrough is a guy who's showing great work in the Championship. Getting a little bit hot and cold when he gets on a run. He gets on a run of goal scoring, and then he can have these dips. But I guess many strikers are like that, aren't they? They're form players, and when you're on it, we're on it, and when you're off, you've got to try and be back on as quickly as possible. Ferguson, as you said, Ross, maybe out of our reach. I'm not even sure about it myself. I know that he's shown quality in a few fantastic games. He got a hat trick against Newcastle for Brighton. Famously, if you're a Brighton fan, he's Ireland's best player potentially. But I don't know. He just seems to keeps getting a lot of injuries, and if we get him out for like a hamstring strain for a month, and you want him for the end of this season, that's going to be no good to us. So we need someone robust. We need somebody up to speed. I know that I think maybe a loan signing is more realistic from either a top 6 Premier League club, or we're going to have to tap into that abroad market again. No one comes to mind immediately. Striker is always the hardest area of the pitch to improve on. I think we'll get one. I'm sure we'll get one. We'll get somebody. So it's going to be really exciting. Loads of sexy stuff for you and your colleagues to report on, Ross.
Yeah, indeed. Bono, striker, is obviously the big quality this window, and not many names out there just yet. Obviously, this window is a lot of clubs looking for strikers. Obviously West Ham with Mikel Antonio's obviously injury. Obviously, was still wishes to him. Hopefully, he's recovering okay. And other strikers, other teams are looking for that position. Chuba Akpom, Charlie Setterfield. A few names just getting chucked out. Let us know any strikers. Chuba Akpom, is he in Holland still?
He's Ajax, yeah.
Ajax, yeah. So. He's once again, he's got that sort of McKenna sort of trait. Like, he's come through an academy, he's played for England at youth level. Obviously has played. He scored a lot of goals for Middlesbrough, a few seasons back. Not a bad name to chuck out. You got any names, Bono? You got any players to?
You know what? I was scouring some of the various websites you can look at. I was looking at free agents, and obviously. There aren't a lot of freebies. There are certainly no decent ones that would come in that would be young enough to kind of not take up any squad space, which of course is a bit of a weird kind of modern phenomenon. There's Ben exposing that gorgeous match-worn Craig Forrest shirt from far too long ago. Charlie's put Shea Adams, David Berkins. But
Chris from Sporting Lisbon, no chance.
Yeah, no, it ain't Football Manager in the year 2030. I don't know. I was going to see that Chuba Moteng is going to the New York Red Bulls, released from Bayern Munich in the summer. But there just simply isn't a lot, and I just don't see this. This is like Bono's curse now. I don't see us going out and buying like many people, if any.
We can't do what we did last January with Kiefer Moore, signing someone, on loan, from the Premier League, because now we're in the Premier League. We could potentially happen if we're going for somebody in the top 10 in the league, but they may wait until later on in the window. But we'll want to get someone sooner rather than later, so get them up to speed. And then we also want a striker who's been playing games as well, because you don't want to get someone in who hasn't played games. That's the thing with Evan Ferguson, hasn't played that many games, so bring him in. He may have the ability there, but he hasn't played games, so it needs to be someone.
There is a name from Holland. which you boys will be familiar with, that I always mention. But I just don't see it happening because he's coming back from a bit of an injury thing at the moment. So yeah, and that's my boy Jez Hornkamp, who plays for Heracles Amalo. So if you don't know him, guys, Jez Hornkamp, funny name, great talent, lots of cool tattoos, and he was wearing the whole Liam Delap tight short thing and rolled down socks before Delap. So yeah, he's a good old boy. Nice moustache as well. But yeah, we want goals, not Instagram pictures, really, don't we?
Yeah, we want goals and someone to obviously compete with Liam Delap, and hopefully George Hurst is back sooner rather than later. But you just want that, maybe just that extra. Often, we're linked at Broja, for so long. Obviously, he's only now come playing for Everton, so we shall see. But a few names: Shay Adams, went to obviously Italy in the summer after leaving Southampton. So yeah, a few names. No, or Ben's shaking his head. No,
we need to see better than that. Surely. Yeah. That's no improvement on anybody that we've got already. I don't think he's a Premier League striker at all. Did okay in the Championship, but just okay.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair point. Opinions. But yeah, I'm sure there'll be different names getting chucked out sooner rather than later. But that is the sexy stuff for now, ladies and gentlemen. We'll move on because we've had a good half an hour about it. But yeah, that Greek striker. Also, I think he's still about, but although he's not been scoring that many goals for Olympiacos. What was his name again? I completely forgot his name.
Oh, I watched him. He was on. He played in Europe the other night against. Did he play against the New Saints in the UEFA Conference League? He scored a very nice penalty. He plays for.
I just remember him being the Greek striker. Let me quickly find his name quickly. I think it was. I was able to say his name.
That's a plus. Somebody's put Willie Nonto.
It's a good start.
Willie Nonto from Leeds. He's not a striker though, is he?
No, he's a moody winger that throws his toys out the pram. Would he? I can swear, can't I?
Yeah.
Would he pass the no dickhead rule? I don't think he would.
No, he's
allegedly. He is Italian. Italian. You're trying to find his Greek lad, aren't you? So am I. So I'm looking at my phone.
I don't know. I forgot his name. I can't even find his.
Come on, somebody put it in.
Oh, are they?
So I can feel somebody's about to type it.
Let us know, because I just remember him being the Greek lad.
Ah, here he is. Fotis Ioannidis.
Yes.
There you go. 24 years old. Where's the number 7 shirt? 14 caps for Greece. There you go. Yeah, he ain't tearing it up. And yeah, the other night when the New Saints played against Panathinaikos in whatever that European competition is called, that we may qualify for next year. You never know. Josh Madja.
Yeah, Josh Madja.
No,
he featured heavily. He featured heavily in the Sunderland when we watched them cry on Netflix. That thing. That was when his transfer to Bordeaux. That saga was kind of being kind of played out on that, and I wasn't too. Yeah, no. Like Ben said, not for me. I just don't think he fits the mold. Undoubtedly a good player, but yeah.
Yeah, we could be here all day going through lists of different strikers and going yes, no, maybe, but we would just have to trust to McKenna and Ashton with recruitment and see who we bring in. And obviously, we've got a whole month to sort of look at rumours and speculate and all that, and we shall see. And obviously, we'll make sure at the East Anglian Day Times to double check everything, make sure everything is concrete and reliable, and we'll bring you the news when we find out. So there's sexy stuff's done and dusted. As standard, the club put out a vote for the Player of the Month, and this is for December. Obviously, December was a mixed month. A few good results, a few bad results, and there was 4 nominations, boys. And Jens Kajuste or Kajuste, I think it's Kajuste, isn't it? Like rooster, no, Kajuste. How are you saying it, boys? Have you got
Kajuste. Jens
Kajuste, like rooster. Leif Davis, Liam Delap, or Daro Shea, who I thought has stepped up, obviously captained the team in Sam Morsey's absence against Arsenal. Bono, the votes are actually in. The final results are done, but before you look at that and before we announce the winner, who's your choice out of those four?
I didn't realise the vote is closed. I've tried to have a bit of a tech-free festive and Romuald period, as we call it here at home. It's got to be Delap.
Okay, that's your point. Ben, what do you reckon?
I voted for and think it should be Dara O'Shea.
Okay, let us know in the comments. Could you stay or could you? I keep saying his name wrong. I'm just gonna call him Jens.
He said it. He said it. There's loads of videos where he like talks about himself and he says his name differently in every one.
Yes.
I've even asked somebody I know in Sweden how to say it, and he's like, it's not a Swedish name. So yeah.
As long as he plays well, plays well, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
And everyone's voted. Actually, he's got 42% of the vote, and he has won it this month. Leif Davis got 4%, Liam Delap 29%, Dara O'Shea 25%. So a lot of people in the chat going Delap, Kujuste. He's won it though, Jens. Well done, my friend. And I thought he's been stepping up, hasn't he? He's playing instead of Calvin Phillips, who obviously former England international. Well, hopefully one day will still be an England international. But yeah, Jens, congratulations, my friend. But Dara O'Shea, Ben, good shout. He's I think had a really good month. He's really stepped up and bring that leadership. And I remember watching at the Chelsea game, like in that final 5 minutes, just every block, every tackle, he was just celebrating like he just scored at a World Cup final. He's just like going, yes, boys. So yeah, any other business from that, or should we move on?
I just want to say about O'Shea, it's very easy to praise your Omari's, your Liam Delap's. Kayuste has been absolutely fantastic in the centre midfield when he just jinked past those three players in the build up to the penalty in the match against Chelsea. He's got I think he's just going to get better second half of the season. He's keeping an England international out of the side. And long may that continue, because as long as he stays fit, then he's going to be such an important player for us. But O'Shea, you're right, Ross. He throws his body on the line for us. So the game earlier in the season when he had his head cut open and he's got a bandage on his head like Terry Butcher, and he's got that side of him. As my wife will testify to, we saw him after the Brentford game and he smelled incredible getting into a London cab. So he's got that nasty side, but also that soft side where he just smells wonderful.
What did he smell like?
Just sweet.
It's that expensive. It's that expensive Tom Ford.
Yeah, something way out of our price range. I'm sure. I don't know. Can you bottle the smell of heaven? I don't know. How much is that? But yeah, I just wanted to flag that. I think he's been absolutely superb, and I really enjoy the sexy football and the superb stuff we've played all season. But I also love a big tackle and I love a big header. That's why Cameron Burgess is one of my favourite players. So Dara O'Shea, great month, shown great leadership as well. So what a brilliant signing he's been.
Very much so. All right then, boys. We've had sexy stuff. We had the January transfer window sort of chat. Let's have a little bit silly stuff now. A bit of strike. Just break it all up before we look ahead to Fulham, which obviously is Town's next game, the first of 2025. And we've got 5 questions plus a tiebreaker. 400 people are joining us live. Thanks so much for joining me. Daniel Fisher, is Callum Wilson on loan possible? Or what's the word? Plausible.
He's just not going to be fit enough, is he? He's injured now, and it's an injury they can't even give a timescale on. I think Eddie Howe's been asked about that a few times, and there's no timescale. Maybe they know and keep it private, but just keeps getting niggly injuries. It's a shame. Great player. Really unfortunate for him.
Yeah. Once again, another name. We could be here all day talking about strikers, but we shall see what happens. But it's time for the strike, boys. We've got 5 questions plus tiebreaker. All the questions are on Fulham-related things. Players who played for both, games against Fulham at Craven Cottage. So let me get my answers up. Make sure on the question there isn't any answers that will pop up, because that would be awkward. I've done that before many times, as you guys are aware. Play at home, as always, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks so much for joining us. Let's bring up the first question, which is on the last win at Craven Cottage, which was a 2-1 victory in December 2025. And in what second did Freddie Sears score against Fulham in the last win at Craven Cottage in 2025? So, yeah, Freddie Sears scored a very quick goal But in what second was it? So the closest to the correct answer gets the point. If you get a bang on, you get double the point. So what second? So in the first minute, we scored, but obviously it was in the second. So, what second was it? Anyone get involved in the chat? I've actually got a classic encounter going out tomorrow on talking about this game. Brett Pittman scored the other goal in that game. Ross McCormack scored a free kick for Fulham to equalise. And that was Brett Pittman. Yeah, I was there too. Yeah. Did I say December 2025? No, so
you did, yeah.
Did I? My bad. On the screen now it says 2025. It's fine. It's fine. But yes, what is your answers, boys? Who's going to get on the board first of all?
I've gone 16 seconds.
Okay. 26 seconds. So someone has got it bang on, and I think Ben's got it right. Unfortunately, Benno's got it bang on, but he was there, and I don't know if he maybe recently read that there's, about the game. Simon in the chat's gone 16 seconds. Charlie as well went 16 seconds. Another Charlie went 22 seconds. David went 35. David from Ireland, Ben. Dublin. David is from.
Right, must be a great man. Great people in Ireland. They're all great people.
I'm trying not to look at the answers in the chat.
Yeah, try not to. If you can, remove it from your screen. I know,
I didn't know. I didn't know you could look at it, but that's because I'm a complete technophobe. So, yeah, I just remember it being 16 seconds. Match reports, the excellent work. Stuart would have written probably after the game that night, or would have done. So, yeah, very lucky I was in the ground on time to see it. Good.
I actually missed the goal. I was there, but I missed the goal. I missed the first 10 minutes because we were not even on the ground. We weren't even near the stadium at that stage when they were warming up and everything. And missed the goal. And then we went in and went, oh, we scored. And I went, who scored? I went, Alfred Sears in 16 seconds. But do you know what? That's the second quickest goal in town history. The quickest ever goal was scored by Doug Willwood, who scored in 10 seconds. I don't
good
know
old Doug.
I think it was against Portsmouth, or some team. But I know it was from good old Doug. It was in the 60s or the 50s. But 10 seconds it took him to score. Daryl Murphy, actually, on his debut, scored in 23 seconds against Middlesbrough. So little facts I'm chucking at you all tonight. That's what I'm here for with the strike. But Ben does make it 2-0, Bono, but do not worry. Got another question. Question 2 is actually a bad question, really, as a Town fan. But I thought I had to mention it. And it actually links up with the 60s because Town were famously beaten 10-1 by Fulham on Boxing Day in 1963. But who scored the Town goal? Now, I was going to put the options, and I did put the options, but I haven't put it on the screen. So let me quickly edit this live for you, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm just, professional. These are the options. Was it Jerry Baker, Ted Phillips, or Joe Broadfoot? So 10-1, demolition at Craven Cottage. Bobby Robson scored in that game for Fulham, famously. So if you didn't know that, when he played for them. But 10-1. And obviously every time we get to Boxing Day, they bring that graphic up, don't they? They beat us 10-1. Loads of good score lines that day. But funny enough, I think we played Fulham maybe a couple of days later and beat them 4-2. So it's I think our boys were just enjoy their Christmas Day, maybe a bit too much. But who scored that goal that day? Simon went Crawford. That's not an option, Simon. That's not an option. He didn't score in that game. It was one of these three here. Jerry Baker, the man from America. Ted Phillips, the man with a power forward shot in football. Or Joe Broadfoot, who I haven't got a nickname name for because I don't know.
Broady. Do Joey Broadfoot.
But what do you reckon, boys? Obviously, neither of you were alive when this happened. But yeah.
I wrote
Broadfoot. Broadfoot.
There you go,
Phillips. You're both wrong. It was actually Jerry Baker, the man from America, who was the first American to play for Ipswich Town, by the way. Good old Jerry. Did play a lot of games for the club, actually, in the 60s. Get him up quickly. Little shout out. 135 league games, 58 goals. Not a bad return, really. From New Rochelle, New York, United States. Good lad.
How many goals did he score for the club, Ross?
58 in the
58?
league. 58, not bad.
Very impressive.
Is he available on a free?
Sadly, he died. He died in 2020. In 2013 in Scotland.
Oh God!
Yeah, he managed Margate. Yeah.
That's a bit of a commute, isn't it? Scotland to Margate.
Yeah. When he obviously retired, he went to probably Scotland. But so 2-1, no 2-0. Responding to get that right. Question 3 is who scored Town's equaliser in the 1-1 draw at Fulham in the Premier League in 2001? Was it Matty Holland, Sixto Peralta, or Jermaine Wright? Not Richard Wright, obviously, because he's in goal. I don't think Richard Wright scored a goal. He wasn't one of those famous goalkeepers to score a goal. Maybe I should have put Jay Wright instead of, just Wright. But I assume you knew it was Jermaine Wright, because obviously it wasn't Dale Wright, because that was before his time. But yeah, 1-1 draw. I think Fulham got a player sent off in this game, actually. I think Bermonte.
Barry House score or get sent off in that game?
No, I think that's Lewis Bermonte.
Boamonte, yeah. Did he get sent off?
The man from Boamonte, he says yes.
Boamonte.
Do you know what Simon's just gone in the chat? He's got, don't know. There's options, Simon. Just let me know an option.
Do we get a bonus point if we can tell you who did the assist as well?
Oh yeah, I don't actually know who got the assist, but
because I think they played this goal at half time.
What the
Chelsea game?
Oh, Chelsea game. Okay.
No, the Fulham, yeah.
I wrote Jermaine Wright. I think it was a deflection and went in, but I might be thinking of the wrong goal.
Right,
he's put 6 though. Yeah.
Well, no, you're right, Ben. It is Jermaine Wright. Jermaine Wright. So it makes it 3-0.
I must be
David from Dublin.
I think it was absolutely pissing it down in the game. I think it was torrential rain.
Yeah, I think it wasn't great weather. I wasn't there because I was 5. But
all right.
I'm just saying, just saying facts. But yeah, so Ben makes it 3-0.
Rafa Benitez.
Yeah.
Facts. It's facts.
This one may be a bit more leaning towards Ben because he named his cat after this man. And it is Gus Unenbeek, who had a spell at Fulham. Obviously, he was at Town, then went to Fulham, signed by Kevin Keegan, because Kevin Keegan was the Fulham manager back then. How many goals did Gus Unenbeek score for Town in 113 games? So if you get it bang on, you get double the points, Bono or Ben. But yeah, Gus. I met up with Gus last summer, and a great man.
Great man, great cat. It was a great cat.
Good cat, Gus. Gus the cat. And I've become friendly with a squirrel outside my garden, and I called him Gus. So just Gus. To be fair, no, Sasha, my missus, she called it Gus. And I just went with it. So good old Gus. But Gus Unenbeek, 130 games for Town.
Do little halls.
Yes.
Good question.
Flying fullback.
Just takes me back to the halcyon days of watching the Anglo-Italian Cup.
Yeah, which was one of these days I'm going to do like a feature on that, like looking back at those games and talk to players who played in it and the stories. I think I've spoken to a few players of that era for my player interviews, and they just go, yeah, it was just mental, like going to Italy and playing these teams. And like Carlo Ancelotti, I can't speak to say his name. Carlo Ancelotti was obviously a manager for one of the Italian teams. Pirlo was on the bench for one of those teams as well.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So, but yeah, watch this space, AJ.
I've got 14, Ross. I don't
14
know.
goals.
14.
Do you reckon?
I put 14 too.
Wow. Deary me.
Can I change it?
Do we allow him, Ben? Do we allow him to change it?
Yeah, because there's only one question left after this. It's 2-0. So if you didn't get it right, it won't be as interesting.
True. Right, and Bono, let you change it. Please change it the right way.
12.
David gone 6. Charlie's gone 29. Been very, very nice to Gus. Gus wasn't known for his goal scoring ability, unfortunately. He only scored 4 goals. That was in his first season. He was at the club, obviously, for I think 4 seasons, or maybe 3.5. And in his first season, scored 4 and then didn't score again. So Bono does get the point because he's closest. I was hoping you weren't going to do more than 14. I think please done it, Bono. So you get the opinion. You make it interesting for the final question. Question 5 is on Moritz Volz. Moritz Volz, the man who was on loan from the German, who's now the assistant manager at Bayern Munich's women's team. Fun fact. Didn't know that.
You are full of them, Ross. Stop it.
I am. His previous role was the assistant manager at Galatasaray in Turkey, the men's team. But weird transition there. But two big clubs, obviously. During his spell at Town, what was his squad number? Was it 18, 22, or 24? Maurice Volz, the German. I think he's the first ever German to play for Town. Obviously, we had Colin Quainer after him. I don't know if we've had another.
He was absolutely electric, wasn't he? For us.
He was good.
Was he?
No, he was very slow, bless him. He wasn't very quick. He's at the end of his career, though, wasn't he?
I quite liked Quainer when he was at Huddersfield. He looked all right. When Huddersfield had those signed like 20 obscure continental type players. But here we go. We're not here to talk about Huddersfield. We're here to talk about Ipswich Town, boys and girls.
Volz. What's his squad number?
Moritz.
Bono, if you get it right, mate, we take you to the tiebreaker. 22, Ben's gone for Bono. 22. And the correct answer is 22. So Ben has won 3-2. But so Ben wins overall. He wins the first strike of 2025. Well done, my friend. But as standard, the question is always there. You're going to gamble it on the final tiebreaker.
Oh, we've got to gamble, Ross. We've got to gamble.
Yes.
Okay. Gamble time then. Gamble responsibly and all that jazz. How many times have Town won at Craven Cottage in 16 attempts?
Wow.
So, let's get it bang on, Ben. Let's get it bang on to win it. 16 games. Only 16 games at Craven Cottage. Not many games there. And obviously, last time we played there, we lost 4-1. So that was not great. It's not a great game. Jordan Spence got sent off. We actually took the lead in that game. And then it was just a mental 10 minutes. I think Jordan Spence got sent off and then we could see the 4 goals. It wasn't a good night at Fulham. And that was definitely a night where I thought, yeah, we're screwed. We're very screwed. And not too good. People in the chat chucking their guesses out. A few people getting close. We shall see if Bono can get it bang on. Don't you look, Bono? Don't you look? I saw your eye look.
I have just looked. I'm going to put something different. I'm going to put something different.
Okay. Obviously, Ben's still playing, mate.
Here we
you
go.
Never know. Right.
Yeah, I don't have any idea. I'm going to get 4.
4. Bono?
3.
Ooh, 3. Now, let's go through the maths quickly here. So, we have lost more there than we have. No, we haven't. We've drawn more there. We've lost 6. We've drawn 7. Can you do the maths?
No.
Well, that would be 3.
2 weeks.
That would be 3, Bono. So you've got to bang on, and you've won the first strike of 2025. Ben gambled, although he had to, because that's always the pressure we put on people. You got to do it because it doesn't make it any fun. And also, I put my little bit of research in to find that question, which it was easy to find, to be fair, for that question. But you've won, my friend. Speech.
I'm just happy that everybody was here to witness me return to my winning ways. There you go. Boom. Let's hope it's a good sign for a Sunday. Super Sunday. Super Sunday.
No, it's a Sunday, obviously.
Live from Anfield, but with the entree of Craven Cottage. Fulham host Ipswich at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the game.
Yeah. Who are Liverpool playing?
Manchester United.
Battling team.
Relegation threatened Manchester United.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We do need to really start beating those teams around us, don't we? And that starts this Sunday. I thought we should have beaten Fulham earlier on, but yeah.
That was a good game.
There we go.
I really enjoyed that. Obviously, that was when the season really started, didn't it? Because obviously the Liverpool Man City games, I hate to say it, they were free hits. They were always going to be tough games. And then Fulham was the game where you thought they're still a good team, but we can get something out of this. And we did. We got a point, but also we could have won that game. But yeah, let's talk then about Fulham, boys. I'm actually going to scrap one of the features we were going to have. We'll do it for another day because, it's something that's just timeless. But I said I want to, I know, Bonnie, you're itching to talk about it, but we're not going to do it. We'll do it for another time. Don't worry, we'll do it for another time. But yes, Fulham this weekend, boys. As we said, Super Sunday, Sunday at 2 p.m. Talk about Fulham because they're a good team, Ben and Bono. 8th in the Premier League, unbeaten in the last 7 games. They've had some tough fixtures over the festive period. They've got something in common with us. I've mentioned this many times on certain things so far. They beat Chelsea, just like us, and they conceded 2 late goals against Bournemouth in their last game. And have obviously got players all around their squad that are good. And they've got some big boys as well. You know, Dama Traore, look, he's just got muscles all over.
Huge. Kelvin Bassey's like a WWE wrestler, isn't he?
He is. Diop as well. He's a big boy. Yeah. Then I've got obviously other like silky players as well. But how are you feeling for this, Bono? What do you reckon? You know, that game against Fulham was a good, sort of test for us. And obviously we've gone on to have different moments this season, but this one, it's going to be tricky at Craven Cottage.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's quite a big game, actually. I know that we're still on a high after that fantastic night under the lights against Chelsea. We saw Fulham's quality. Undoubtedly, they've got a lot of decent players, and I like the way, is it Pereira has got them playing.
Silva's the manager.
Yeah, why am I thinking Marcus Pereira? He's Hull.
No, so I thought you meant they've got a player called Pereira.
They do have a player called Pereira.
That's what I was thinking you were saying. But obviously, he's a good player.
Takes the corners, ex-Man U.
Oh yeah, that's it. So I watched a video with a Hull manager earlier interviewing. Have you seen that? With a Hull manager talking to Abu Kamara about something he put on Instagram. That's 4 minutes of my life. I'll never get back, kids. But yeah, I watched something earlier on this season, and it was when good old Jamie Redknapp, who looks more and more like his father, came to Portman Road, and he was hugging all the players, and he was saying how great our setup is and how they're such a great bunch of lads, and how Kieran McKenna is the best manager that has ever existed ever. But really, the mark of a decent Premier League side is to win 2 on the bounce. I think we've got a damn good chance of doing it, but we know how good Fulham are because it only seems like yesterday when they bullied us at Portman Road. So, yeah, I think we'll win. I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be a close one. But I think we hopefully would have learned something from when they played, when they visited Portman Road a little earlier on.
I'm not as confident as you, my friend. I'm happy with a draw. As you know, the phrase go, I want to get off the bus, as Mick McCarthy used to say. But you never know. And Town obviously would need to see if they can get that back-to-back wins. And Fulham, Ben, they don't keep clean sheets. I think they've only kept 1 home clean sheet this season. That was against Southampton in a 0-0 draw. But yeah, how are you feeling for this one? Everyone get involved in the comments. Let us know your predictions and your thoughts. McKenna's already come out and said Christian Walton is starting again. Obviously had a good game against Chelsea. Other players that may change up a little bit. Obviously, Sammy Smodics may start. He's more been a regular away starter. But yeah, what do you reckon?
Fulham, a very good side. Been very impressed by them this season. Exceptional going forward in the wide areas with their fullbacks. So I think it's been well documented how good Anthony Robinson is down that left-hand side for them. I think he's got the most assists by a defender in the Premier League. Castagna is now on that right-hand side for them, and he's exceptionally good going forward as well. So I think McKenna will set up with that in mind. They're very good from set pieces. Jimenez obviously very good in the air. Anderson, the ex-Palace player, very good in the air when he comes up from the back. So lots of different threats, but what's been surprising, as well as Fulham have done against the top sides, they have dropped points that maybe you wouldn't have expected them to do. Obviously, most famously against Wolves, losing 4-1 at home, drawing 0-0 with Southampton at home. So there's certainly enough hope for us to go into this game and get something. I think we might sneak a draw. We're obviously going to be high on confidence from the Chelsea game. I'm sure if any Fulham fans are listening or watching this, they're going to be thinking maybe I'm being overly confident. But, if Fulham take us for granted in terms of thinking our position overall on the table, our performances overall have been pretty decent. But yeah, their main threats, we've got to look in those wide areas. Those late runs from Harry Wilson, he's a man in form for them. And as I said, the set pieces, because the delivery from Pereira, Bono's mate, is often on the spot as well. So something for us to look at, but we're encouraged by the fact they haven't kept those clean sheets, as you said, Ross. So I'd expect Delap to play. Amari's going to play. I wouldn't look to be changing it too much from the Chelsea game. I'd have hoped, despite McKenna's comments on the players struggling to sleep, I think we all did post match the other night. But yeah, I wouldn't move too far away from that side against Chelsea as much as we can. You know, Leaf's going to play. He's confirmed Walton, O'Shea, Greaves. I would expect will play. Whether someone comes in the back, I don't think he will. I don't think you drop Wolfenden unless you change shape. And I don't know why you do that. I think it works well from us having that sort of hybrid in terms of Wes gives you that sort of right wing back role in front. Maybe you bring Johnson in just that extra bit of defensive capability. But looking forward to seeing what we can do. I'm obviously going to be confident after Chelsea, but I would take right now, Ross, as you said, I wouldn't get on the bus if you can give me a draw. So I'm going to say 1-1.
Okay, then. I'm Marco Silva. I'm a big fan of, by the way. He just looks so cool and just, he's obviously done really good job at Fulham. Done a really good job. And obviously we played Fulham last year in the Championship, when it was in the Carabao Cup, they beat us on that day. But, obviously that game at Portland Road was very good earlier, and we spoke about that earlier. But, Bono, any other business for going into this one? What changes you'll do?
No, I mean, there's the old adage of you never change a winning side. And I was... if the players that started the game on Monday, it was Monday, wasn't it? It's just this period, this time of year, just completely throws me like many other people. Fulham unbeaten in their last 6. I think they've won 2, drawn 4. Watched them play actually against Brentford when they scored that last minute winner. Harry Wilson, I think, is one of Wes Burns' best mates, isn't he? Be a really, really interesting counter. I've just seen the comment there about Smith Rowe. He didn't play the last game. A player I really, really like, Bernd Leno. Did he come off the bench? Was he? Yeah. Bernd Leno he's got ice in his veins. That keeper. I like this. I like talking about the Premier League. It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And that's a nice little segue, actually, because I think there's no other business from the Fulham game, is there, boys? Ed Leader's gone 1-0. He's gone for the boy, O'Shea, to score maybe a bullet header or score a screamer from outside the box. That'd be good to see. But any other business going in Fulham? We want to predict the other Premier League fixtures, look at the other Premier League relegation rivals. Ben, anything else from the game? Or should we segue onto the predictions for the Premier League?
No, I talked about Thyro O'Shea towards the beginning of the show, and it would be fantastic if he popped up with a goal. I feel something coming from a set piece for us in terms of a centre half knocking a big header in would be fantastic. But any win, scrappy. I don't care how we play. Points, every point is a prisoner. Nothing further to add except they'll be obviously roared on by a fantastic 3,000 members of the Ipswich Blue Army. So let's just roar our lads to victory, I hope.
Yeah, it's a good away day, to be honest. I really enjoy going to Fulham, West London, and I know that a lot of people do that boat trip. You can go on that boat and you can go and I did that one year and it was really good fun. I can't remember much of it because I was very you know what happened. Got very drunk. It was good fun, but then we lost in that game. So no, we didn't. That was the game when we won, and I was just late because obviously Mr. Freddie Sears' goal. But yes, let's look ahead to the Premier League this weekend, boys. Saturday fixtures, starting off with a 12:30 kickoff. Tottenham Spurs taking on Newcastle United. Mum's team. Shout out to my mum, Liz. Isak's been very good for me in my FPL team, so keep up, Isak, my friend. What do you reckon, boys? Bono, Spurs, Newcastle. Spurs doing a bit of a Spursy at the moment. Newcastle doing really well. They're 5th. Spurs are actually dropped down to 11th. Didn't know they were dropping down that low. But yeah, what do you reckon?
Spurs will win 3-1. I love how unpredictable Spurs are at the moment, which is why it's very hard to predict what they're going to do. But yeah, my grandfather was a Spurs fan. He's from North London, so yeah, I don't have a soft spot for them. however. But yeah, keeps it interesting, doesn't it?
Does.
If they beat Newcastle.
Do you know what? David's gone the other direction, done the opposite. He's gone 3-1 Newcastle. But, we've all got different opinions, different predictions. Charlie's gone 2-0 to Newcastle against Tottenham. What do you reckon, Ben?
Newcastle United 3.
High scoring game.
Very high scoring.
Yeah,
game.
I just think Tottenham can't defend, and they've got more problems. Doggy's out now for 6 weeks. No Romero, no Van der Ven. I think even Ben Davis is injured now. So there's Dragerson and Gray at the back, probably again, even though he's a centre midfielder, along with Spence, I think, who comes back from suspension at left back, and Pedro Porro, who can't defend. So I'll be amazed if Newcastle don't notch 2 or 3 goals. But Spurs are very good going forward. So that's my prediction. Could be 5-5. Spurs are great to watch.
Yeah, very much so. Daniel Fisher's gone 4-2 Newcastle, so goals. Charlie's went, do you think Ipswich should start Christian Walton in goal instead of Muric for the Fulham game on Sunday? Yes, Charlie, because Kieran McKenna's come out and said that he will likely start. So, and obviously had a great game against Chelsea, but I thought I'd clarify that as I saw that question. Next up, we've got a lot of 3 p.m. kickoffs on Saturday, so that's good. Match of the day will be full of games. Bournemouth versus Everton. What do you reckon, boys? Bournemouth doing very well this season, 7th in the table. Everton under Sean Dyche, we're only 2 points away from Everton, boys, to be fair. Although they have got that game in hand, but then that game in hand is against Liverpool. I'll start with you, Ben, for this one. What do you reckon?
I've gone 1-1. Everton have been a lot better at the back, and Bournemouth are still, of course, as we know, very, very good football team, and less is said about them as a club, the better from my point of view. So Bournemouth 1, Everton 1.
Okay, Bono, you're my friend. You're my friend. You're not my friend. Your prediction?
I do like the Everton manager. Did you see at the start of the season when the Premier League released those little video clips about how they say their names? I always mention this. I liked it when obviously you got all the foreign players correctly telling everybody how to say their names, and then we all say them wrong anyway. But I liked Sean Dyche standing up and going, Sean Dyche. So anyway, enough of that. Bournemouth will win 4-1.
4-1.
They're a really good team. They play lovely football. Yes, they've got a small ground. Yes, they're owned by whoever. We're not here to talk about that. They play really nice football. They've got some excellent players. And yeah, they were jammy against us with that last minute bloody nonsense, which I hope we're not going to see again this year. Thank you very much. But yeah, they're a great side. They're a great side.
Yeah. Everyone else in the chat is backing them. Charlie's gone 1-0. David's gone 2-1 against the Toffees. And Bournemouth. Daniel's also gone 2-1 for Bournemouth. So let's rattle through these quickly, boys. Aston Villa versus Leicester. Snap predictions, go. Ben, Bono, what do you reckon? Ben, I don't know what's going on again.
I've gone 3-1 Villa. 3-1 Villa.
3-1. Yeah, talk like that to the screen like this.
Yeah, 3-1 Villa. Ollie Watkins to bang 2, but Van Nistelrooy's Leicester they're good for the odd goal. So 3-1.
Bono?
Both teams out of form. 2-2 draw. Local derby. Is it a local derby? Yeah, it's just a derby, isn't it?
Yeah.
Midlands.
They've got beef, I don't think, but they'll call it like a close game because it's close nearby. Charlie's gone 2-1. David's gone 2-1 as well. Next up, Crystal Palace versus Chelsea, the team we beat last time. London derby. Many of those.
I would love, having seen the histrionics of Chelsea, I would love to see them get beaten again, just to turn their heat up on Maresca, who actually was very humble in his post-match presser. They released their press conference before we did. So when I got back from the game, that actually popped up on the old YouTubes. And I thought it was very humble, which I liked. But Palace to pile on the misery. 1-0, Cucurella to get sent off as well.
Okay. Ben, what do you reckon?
1-1. I think Palace are coming into form and Chelsea are not right at it in the minute. So I've gone 1-1.
Okay. Do you know what? That's the same predictions in the chat. David and Charlie have also gone 1-1. Then it's Man City versus the Hammers at the Etihad Stadium. Bono, what do you reckon?
6-0 Man City.
Ooh, yeah, West Ham not doing good, are they?
No. And it'll be like, what crisis? What crisis?
Yeah, I've gone 2-0. West Ham are struggling with injuries, but I'm still not convinced by Manchester City. Have they really returned to form? They weren't very good against Leicester despite the victory, so too risky to go for 6-0. But you can't rule it out, can you, Bono? Haaland can get all 6.
True. And people will be happy if they're in his FPL team, although I think a lot of people are taking Haaland out of the FPL. David's gone 3-0. Charlie has gone for a Desmond. He thinks the Hammers are going to get a point at the Etihad and score 2 goals. Well, crazy things have happened before. So we shall see. Spurs beat them 4-0, which was mental. Did we beat Spurs the week after, wasn't it?
We beat Spurs and then they went and beat Man City.
Crazy. So, yeah, are we better than the England champions? Maybe we are. Southampton-Brentford is the final 3 p.m. kickoff of Saturday. What do you reckon, boys? Daniel Fisher's gone 2-1 West Ham. Okay. Mental. But anything can happen in this league. Southampton-Brentford, though, boys. What do you reckon?
Brentford 2, Southampton, who I don't dislike quite as much now that old Martin Russell's left. 2-0 Brentford. I really like Brentford. I really like the way they play. They got some great players. 2-0 Brentford.
I've actually gone 2-2. Brentford are rubbish away from home. Best home record in the league. One of the worst records away from home. Southampton, a little bit of a change in the way they're playing under Juric. So, I think we might be disappointed there. 2-2.
Okay. David's gone 2-1 Brentford. Charlie's gone 3-2 to Brentford against the Saints. And Daniel's gone 4-0 Brentford. Going to get slapped. He didn't put that on. Then the 5:30 kickoff is Brighton versus Arsenal, which I think will be a very good game. I think that will be a ding-dong battle between those two sides. Seagulls versus the Gunners. I think the Gunners have outgunned the Seagulls there, although Seagulls may come out and go, come on in. Don't know where I'm going with that. What do you reckon, boys, for Arsenal?
Is that Brighton, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Oh, see, I've got friends that are Brighton fans. And they'll be there. 2-1.
Well, Bono, 2-1. All right, okay.
Yeah, 2-1 Brighton.
I've gone 2-2. I think this could be same line as Bono's thinking that could really play into Liverpool's hands for Sunday. 2-2. I don't fancy Arsenal at the minute. They're too inconsistent.
Okay. Charlie's gone 1-1 and David's gone 2-0 Arsenal, so he's backing the Gunners, Mikel Arteta's side. Then on to Sunday, obviously Fulham Ipswich. Did we get a prediction for everyone? I think it was a draw for Ben. I've gone for a draw. Bono, you've gone for a win. What's the score prediction?
Fulham 1, Ipswich Town 3.
Whoa!
Yeah. Set piece goal. I think Delap's going to get another penno. These pennos are like London buses. You don't get one for ages, and then a load of them turn up. He's going to absolutely smash it. Laces into the side of the goal, like the very side bit. He's going to absolutely smash it.
Okay, then. I'll take that right now. Oh, yeah, once again, I won't even leave home. If you give me a 3-1 defeat, I'm not going to go to the game. No, I'm going to the game. So I have to. Got to go those snappy snaps. Then, after us, it's a game. Liverpool versus Manchester United at Anfield. Liverpool, obviously, doing very well. Pretty much won the title, haven't they? What do you reckon, boys? Liverpool, Man United, 4:30 kickoff on the telly box.
4-0.
Man United.
I just don't see how Liverpool just won't run all over them. The only way that is going to happen if they park the bus, and even if they do that, they haven't done that very well either. So, yeah, if Liverpool play with any kind of the same sort of vibrancy they had at West Ham last week and what they've been showing over the last few months, I can't see it going any other way. Maybe we'll be surprised, but could be another delicious afternoon in front of the telly watching Manchester United lose. They could lose every game for the rest of time. Growing up in the 1990s, not being a Manchester United fan was miserable. So,
yeah,
4-0, please.
Echo that. 3-1. Man, you'll have a player sent off. they've just got the most random collection of players, haven't they?
Yeah. Obviously, a lot of people in the chat have gone for big wins for Liverpool, 4-0, 5-0 from Charlie and Dave, respectively. Daniel's gone 5-2, so giving Man United some goals, but they'll be just consolations in the end. And
completely echo Ben's sentiments. Sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt you, Ross. Completely echo Ben's sentiments. Growing up in Suffolk in the 90s, where everybody, I mean, I grew up in Bury. You're either an Arsenal fan, a Man U fan, or an Ipswich fan. And I just remember going into school the Monday after that massive defeat when, I've never forgotten that day. So, yeah, bit of Schadenfreude watching them struggle a little bit. They'll be all right. They'll finish like 9th or something annoying like that. But yeah, bless them.
They're only 7 points away from us, so you never know. We never know. That's another discussion for another day. The final game of the weekend is on Monday. It's Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Nottingham Forest. Nuno returns to Molineux once again. I think he returned there last season, so it's not like he's going there again. But I've done a really good job at Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest are third.
Flying.
Which is great to see. I like Nottingham Forest, the club. I think they're obviously a historic club. I think when I was speaking to Steele or someone about it, I was like saying they're sort of got a sort of same sort of history as Town. You know, they won a European trophy. They had a manager like Clough for so long.
Yeah.
Players, a stadium of same size, and just that sort of history. I like Nottingham Forest, and they've had some decent hits.
There's a lot of similarities. Obviously, they're around in the early days of the Premier League, like we were, as well as what you said. We need, selfishly as an Ipswich fan, I think we'd like to see a Forest win. As long as Wolves, Southampton, Everton, Palace, as long as they all keep stuttering, then I'm convinced we'll pick up our form and leapfrog those teams. So Forest win for me.
Okay. Charlie and David are gone for Forest wins as well. Are you doing the same, Ben, or is Wolves going to get that annoying win or draw? Can't hear you again. Ben, we can't hear you.
I'm lip reading.
Oh, still can't hear you.
I've gone.
There you go.
I've gone Wolves 0, Forest 2.
Ooh.
I think without Mateus Cunha, which we've covered enough about, and without his goals and creativity, and Forest's backline is bloody fantastic. So 0-2.
Okay, then. Daniel's gone for a 3-0 win for Forest. So that is the Premier League predictions for game week 20, which is 20 games in. We're obviously at the halfway point. We're now playing teams for the second time running. Obviously, Fulham playing them again. And 529 people joining us live right now, which is great to see. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. It's been a great show. Hope you've enjoyed the Double Bs and me discussing all things Town and the Premier League. Boys, let's wrap up then, because obviously we'll want to enjoy the rest of our evenings. Obviously, it's been a great evening. But Bono, any other business from you, my friend?
No, just still on a high from the Chelsea game, and these feelings are addictive, aren't they? So let's get some more good times, and let's stay up. Let's win, fight and win. Come on.
Yeah, love it. Ben, over to you, my friend. Any other business? Make sure to come really to the screen so we can hear you. We'll have to set your tech out for the next show.
Yeah, I think it's a new laptop, so I think it goes into sleep mode every time I stop talking because it's annoying, isn't it, hearing my voice all the time, so I don't blame it. Let's make the most of it. Obviously, there's a 2-week gap after this game, so hopefully Town put in a good performance, and then it's focusing onto the FA Cup. Let's just cheer on the team. Let's stay positive. Good vibes, as your colleague Alex will say. We only want good vibes. Just wishing everybody a good weekend and hope it's not too cold out there for everybody.
Yeah, it's been cold the last few days, hasn't it, boys? I went out briefly before I came on here and I was like, oh my God. I was like, get me back home in the nice warmth and, under some blankets and stuff. But yeah, I'm going to need to wear many layers, I'm sure, on Sunday at Craven Cottage. Although, weirdly, I think it's going to start warming up again briefly. So it's just the weird weather of the world we are living in. Ed Leader made a little comment here. This game is going to be like the Blackburn game last season. We get a 1-0 win and teams around us don't get anything, which Not a bad shout, Ed. Could happen.
Well said, Ed. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, my friend. Well, wish yourself. I think that's a perfect way to end it. Hopefully it is a Town win this weekend. If you are going, enjoy. If not, follow the coverage with us. You couldn't say that word there. Bono, Ben, thanks for joining me. Thanks everyone joining us live. As I say, 534 people joining us live as we speak. Thanks for joining us. We'll be live most Fridays when we can. Obviously, next week is Bristol Rovers, so we likely won't be a live show. But thanks so much for joining us on all platforms, on the Twitter, on the YouTubes, on the Facebooks. Maybe one day I'll be on the Instagram. I think we need to sign up to another subscription to make sure we can go live on 4. But we can work on that. But thanks again for watching a live Kings of Anglia Fans Social, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now. End stream. This is normal.